I had inadvertently been given some interesting information. There were plans in place for the development of vehicles for interstellar travel. I went to the control area of the station. They were tasked with maintaining and testing the space shuttle. It was all a sham to confuse and secure results of their real intentions. They were preparing to advance on the area of the transmissions discovered. Apparently, several radio-like signals had been found throughout the years. They had located the source of it. It was a planet that seemed to be hidden in the next galaxy. It appeared to be the source of these aliens we now had to contend with. Their plan to conquer the planet was a top priority for them. We had natural resources they did not. I attended a computer and, with a bit of finesse, I was able to locate the agency's secret development facility. I was totally in awe that all these facilities and agencies were never known to the public, rated to a select few. It caused a level of alarm to me that they themselves might have been compromised. I found the answer. They had developed a DNA testing device would identify the aliens. I went to the clandestine lab myself. At the lab I went directly to the element analyzation machine. I wanted to know if, possibly, Cassandra had been compromised. I tried to develop a way to test her without her knowledge. Perhaps a sample of her kiss. I was confident I could obtain such a thing. Our relationship was, not quite cold yet. As I developed the test I noticed I had inadvertently stumbled onto a strange side effect. It seemed that radiological burst of a frequency would render the sample into pieces. It destroyed the alien DNA completely. Even I was stunned that a simple series of accidents on my part had revealed such an important means to kill them. Was I the only one to even try to find alternative? Complacency in the workforce is a constant threat to development, wouldn't you say? I feed the information in my mind. I next went to the developmental construction device. I had found all these things from my simple scanning of the computer's database. I had a new plan. I started the device and programmed it to build something I would need to stop the onslaught from occurring. No one could know what my plan was to be. I would take this on myself, not just for the element of revenge against these creatures from another world, but for my fellow Sims. A mass attack on their planet was in delay as to the basic fact no one was comfortable with the anticipated loss of lives involved in such an undertaking. What defenses did they process? Perhaps, just perhaps, I would be able to find a way to arrive at their planet and be able to implement my own destruction of them all. It would require some inventive thought. I prepared the device to be manufactured to produce a chain reactive explosion. It was in development on the agency's computers. But its potential for the complete elimination of our own planet had prevented it from being developed, let alone being tested. The only suitable testing would be the blow up the moon itself. And they were sure the public would miss our little moon. I carefully added the information into the development device and it built my super bomb. I had made the decision to enter space and find them and kill them all. It was a bold plan, and I hoped I had the fortitude and intelligence to actually pull it off. After the device was built, I quickly left the building with my treasure. Next, I had the location of the rockets developed for the stalled invasion. I would requisition one of them, and hoped I could hotwire it to take me away without being found. With a little luck I had found the rockets. They were hidden in the forests of the area. I cautiously made my way to one. It was unlocked. Imagine that, and I entered and happily found the on button, and entered the coordinates for the planet. It was quite a ride when the warp drive engaged. I felt rather like Captain Picard. I touched down on the planet. It was a strange and wonderful experience indeed. Unfortunately for me I was met by the mutants. They had obviously known of my arrival and placed me in arrest to await further instructions. From whom? They were quickly given instructions. I was placed into a cage in what appeared to be the residence of their leader, in his great hall. He chuckled at my predicament. Was I foolish enough to think I could simply walk into his world? Why was I even here? What could I possibly want? I laughed. He said that they would use the information that we had developed a means of transporting an army to him, so they would immediately begin their invasion. Thanks to me, I had doomed the Sims. Was I happy with my attempts? His advisors told him to immediately kill me, as I had been far too much a distractive annoyance for them. I had single-handedly destroyed the base in France, and placed those hard-drawn plans moot. The king expressed a different attitude. He exclaimed that anyone that could perform such incredible action against an overwhelming superior intelligence must himself be quite smart. He had admiration for my diligence and ingenuity. With a proper grin he explained that I would remain on their planet. I would witness the elimination of my entire species of Sims, to be replaced with their mutant creations mining our resources for 1,000 years. Against his subordinated wishes, he released me to explore my new home. A bird in a gilded cage. It was to my advantage, and I quickly entered my rocket and made my way homeward. I had taken my secluded freedom to place my bomb directly behind his capital castle. It was primed, and as soon as I was in orbit, I detonated it. I returned home. No fanfare, no glowing crowds to shower me with accolades. Rather, I was quickly summoned to the headquarters for a stern meeting. I had sent them into a bit of a tizzy, and they were not at all amused with my adventures. How on earth had I found the rocket base? What the hell was my thought process? How the devil had I figured out the controls and actually launched a rocket into space, and then found the planet? Even more strange, how did I return unscathed? I remained quite silent. I was sent to the director's office immediately. I proceeded to his meeting room. I was quite sure my career as an agent was about to be unceremoniously terminated. Oh well, such is life. The director introduced me to the government liaison officer. It was she who held the public at bay and developed the many areas of subterfuge to cover any information of our whereabouts and activities. She would have to scramble to think of an explanation for the rocket's launch and its return. That would be an interesting story, I said. Might I suggest fireworks? She was not amused. The director then informed me I was to be suspended while a thorough investigation was to be conducted. I was to not discuss anything that had transpired, and I was to assist in any questioning as to how I had managed to pull off such a spectacular stunt. The fact that they had just received data of the planet being blown to bits was welcome, but also exposed their secret program. He said that there was no need for a loose cannon on his ship. Did I literally think I was James Bond? Who was I trying to impress with all this? I sternly looked him in the eye and said I was not here to impress anyone, just to perform my duties as I understood them. To save the lives of my fellow Sims. His rules be damned. He sent me home to await his calling. I left and went to my apartment. I thought I might indulge in a bit of libation, for I was actually quite proud of myself, even if no one would ever know of my exploits. Unfortunately, the aliens were not all quite destroyed, and I was suddenly abducted by them. What fresh hell was in store for me now? We shall see.